Most golfers lose all their power and consistency because they stand up and lose their side bend. And when that goes, your low point goes with it. Today, I'm going to show you the exact move that keeps you in side bend, drives the club down on the ball and gives you that tour level strike. Let's build it right now.
Today I'm talking side bend and low point control. Two ingredients that work hand in hand and can also be misconstrued if we look too deeply at golfers' swings on the PGA and DP World Tours. So let's talk about the side bend first of all. The side bend is the angle the spine sits at relative to where we started. So we see, for so many, don't we, a spine angle that sits back, a leg action that drives forwards. We see increased left shoulder lift, lead shoulder lift, and all of a sudden we see this right arm tucking. Now both of those ingredients, the side bend and the right arm tucking, are a reaction to dynamics. They're not positional spots in the golf swing. So when we talk about setup, because the lead hand is higher than the trail hand on the golf club, if I bring both of my hands back to level, you can see that my shoulders and my hips are absolutely on the same line. The minute I bring my lead hand higher than my trail hand, it makes my left shoulder higher and my right shoulder lower. Now, as soon as I start to shift my spine further back of that balance line, the more I want to balance myself out with my lower half moving forwards. When we think about balance in the golf swing, we need to look at it from two perspectives, from face on and down the line. When we set up from face on, if we get these 2 points, the lead hip and the trail shoulder, equidistant away from that balance line, in the same way as we get the balance line equidistant away from the top of my spine and my glute line, my body at address is fundamentally in balance. As soon as we put ourselves in balance, we can move more because our musculature will start to back off. As soon as we're off balance, it will tighten up, which causes you to shorten backswings, underturn hip action. All of the ingredients that are attributed with stopping you from falling over whilst you're swinging an implement at 100 miles an hour. So when we think about balance, as soon as we then, not a bad shot that for a loss of balance, when we think about balance, all of a sudden when we get ourselves back at setup and we now think about impact, and normally we'll see a leg action driving forwards. If you haven't seen this video where I talk about the pull moment in the golf swing, you'll understand why that lower half moves forwards. Because when we start to pull on this golf club in the downswing, it's impossible that we don't get some form of lateral bump in the golf swing. So as soon as we have that lateral bump in the downswing, what we need to do as golfers is react by pushing our top half backwards to balance up strike. Or else, when I pull on the golf club and my top half and my lower half moves forwards, I'm going to fall over. So what actually happens is the spine angle starts to sit back as a reaction to the leg action driving forwards underneath, which is so hard to stop. It's so hard to stop the lower half driving forwards in your downswing because of how much a golfer is pulling the golf club from the top, which gives the golfer that energy into the golf ball. Now, the more you angle your spine away from the target, you angle the spine away from the target, which is side bend. Look what it's doing to the grip. and look what it's doing to the club face. Now this lesson today was really brought on to a very good client of mine on Skillist, Sean, who's really been working through some side bend issues and some handle drive issues. And I hear it all of the time. Golfers driving the handle forwards and blasting it out to the right. And so often, this driving the grip forwards is a response to golfers trying to get themselves inside bend and tucking the elbow. Look at what happens when I take the side bend away. Look at what happens to the club head. Look how inside out that club head is. Look at how it's now still inside out rather. But look at how the club face has gone from pointing over here to pointing over here, which now gets the golfer an opportunity to start to line it up more. So, with the old broom, what I want you to do, and you can grab one of these, the exact broom on my store, which you can find on the homepage of my YouTube channel. I got Sean to grip the broom with his lead hand at the top. And then I wanted to get Sean to grip the broom about a foot down. So we've got a nice big split in hands. Then what we got Sean to do is start to recognize how the right shoulder wants to be much higher in delivery. Now, because of the split grip, what actually ends up happening is this right arm, this trail arm, ends up pushing the lead arm back at the lead leg. And it now starts to get the broom pivoting on and around this lead leg, which now starts to get the right shoulder much higher, the left shoulder much lower, which now lines the face back up. Watch what happens when I put excessive side bend in. It opens the club face. Now at the start of this video, I talked about low point control, which most golfers have a problem with, hitting it fat, hitting it thin. When we then create this side bend, the low point wants to fall out back here. Then you get advised, tuck the arm in, look how it lifts the low point up. But in doing so, look how much more the club face opens. And look at how much more the grip wants to lead forwards. Now, a lot of you I can hear out there saying, sure, but we don't swing a broom and we don't grip a golf club with two arms so far apart. Not the point. The point is that it highlights, it amplifies the reaction of trying to create excessive side bend and excessive tuck with the arms in your downswing, because it moves low point so far back in your golf swing. So when we now get that lead arm touching the lead leg, and I now feel how that broom can pivot around that lead leg, and I get that right side working. Can you see how I've got open hips, I've got a right shoulder much higher, and I've got an arm long. I haven't got an arm tucked. So after you've done a few of these drills, and the reason why the broom is so good is because it's heavy. It's super heavy, and it makes your lead arm feel the pressure that broom is swinging on. Now we've swung the broom, and I start to feel how this right side can now lift up. When you do it with a golf club, you'll now feel how light this club is in your hands, and how it doesn't have the same impact the broom does. But what I'm going to do is now feel how much higher my right shoulder is, how much more my lead arm can sit down, and it takes away that ridiculous emphasis on side bend in an effort to get you hitting from the inside, which only causes you to have to bow the wrist. You guessed it, that is garbage. So not to take ourselves too serious here, it's only golf. So now I can feel the right side much higher, which actually takes out the feeling of side bend. But look, as I come through, because my lead arm and lead hand is on a higher point of the golf club, I've still got side bend. I just haven't got excessive amounts of it. Because forever we've seen high right side and we've seen over the top, high right shoulder, grip forwards as over the top. You tell me, what part of over the top is that, my friends? So get yourself the broom, find it on my shop. Get yourself splitting your grip out, and you'll really start to take control of your low point. You'll move it from being too far in front of the golf ball, which will cause fat strikes and thin strikes. And it'll take away your side bend, which will start to give you more angle of attack, line the face back up, and give you more flight. Thank you so much for being with me. If you've got any thoughts on that, drop a comment in the box below. I answer all of your questions.
Are you tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves? Head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves tried and trusted by elite amateurs and tour players alike. Enter my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed.
And thoughts. And I think you'll find that, my friends, is good coaching.